of the market condition and also the kind of synergy it could get from the countries of the region. Some studies show that more than 1/3 of the intra-regional trade of the region falls under sensitive list. We have SAFTA, that's discussed. But even under SAFTA, we have not been able to fully materialize or reduce the sensitive list of items. I think we should consider revisiting the kind of sensitive list so that trade makes a way in order to better integrate the region. We have port restrictions. We have restrictions on the movement of people across the border, so on and so forth. Still, there are hopes. There is a potential. South Asia is the fastest growing region of the world, and we have a lot of untapped potential in the region, such as vast natural resources, as I spoke earlier, the forest resources, the biodiversity, and also the human resources, which includes the large pool of workforce, the vast market we have, and deepening connectivity. Although we don't have the railway connection between China and Nepal, like China-Laos railway network, we are, through our BRI framework agreement, also planning to see that if that is viable and feasible, if not in the near future, in some years' time, we can see the viability of having those kind of connectivity as well. But beside railway, we should also be thinking of more modes of transportation, that is aviation and road transport. This is something that we have agreed under BRI. The region, the South Asian region, could grow faster, even faster than this, provided that we put our basic things right, basic policies in right. Are we doing so? Not much. I would sometimes, later I would tell that in terms of doing business index, we are not very good compared to ASEAN countries. We are not very good also compared to other developing countries. Let me start with the points I said in the beginning: the demographic transition, the environmental issues, including energy peaks, and then the issue related to ICT and others. Let me cite something about the demographic transition, which creates a space for South Asia to invite more industries to be located in this region. During last half a century, the third world has seen a massive transformation in the demographic composition. It is reflected in change in the age structure of population, with an increasing number of people in the workforce relative to the number of dependents. South Asia is no exception to this. The transformation has coincided equally with profound change in economic structure, growth rate as industrial shift. The region enjoys demographic dividend, a window of economic development opportunity. However, South Asia's people are the biggest asset that remain wastefully underutilized because of the large pool of underemployed people in the region. This is one of the reasons why we have working age population migrating abroad. The kind of migration that we have in terms of working abroad is a new dimension of economics, which creates demand for goods and services, but at the same time we have to see that it has labor market implications, it has other kind of financial implications and social implications. The demographic shift can lead to accelerated economic development and industrial shift towards South Asia, no doubt. Only if policy areas such as education, health, and economy and governance are put in place. to lead better environment for investment and green economic development. With nearly half of the population under the age of 24 and nearly 15 million young people set to enter the labor market every year until next decade or so, the region could reap the invariably high demographic dividend. Even when demographic dividend is evident, productivity growth that is getting more value from investment, it has remained low in South Asia, which undermines the prospect of global industrial shift towards this region. While discussing about demographic dividend in South Asia and the kind of demographic pressure our neighboring country China might face in the next decade or so, having benefited from the demographic dividend it could reap during the 1990s and until date, I think the window is shrinking for several countries, including maybe for China. But South Asia particularly still enjoys the window. And as I said before, if demography matters a lot for growth and consumption, perhaps this is the opportunity we cannot say will remain forever. We have to get advantage of the window of opportunities that could last for another couple of decades, not more than that. So let's have our focus on how to make benefit from this kind of window that we have already. I would speak, I will skip trade. I would just try to touch some words about the productivity. It's not only cheap labor force that matters for industrial shift or relocation, it's the productivity. South Asia's labor productivity, if you don't take account into other benefits, other advantages, is low. So how to make, along with cheap labor, how to make labor productivity high so that industrial relocation or new locations can take place is a matter of concern for us. Skilling of our labor force, reskilling, and also making them technologically literate at least and conversant to languages, international languages. This is something which we could do in order to see that the demographic dividend really translates into productivity of labor and capital, and then also creates an attractive destination for industrial transfer to this region. The quest for green industry and South Asia's potential. We are talking green economy, we are talking green industry, we are talking green energy. The green growth transition with clean industrial activity is going to make a big shift in industrial location. It is also likely to be a costlier affair because we can see how much cost it involves in terms of addressing the climate change issues and in terms of decarbonization of our industrial activities. This morning we could hear the speech of Right Honorable Vidyadevi Bhandari, former president of the country. She was so very explicit in mentioning the kind of loss and damages that some kind of climate change actions have made over time, and how Nepal could be compensated from those kind of things, having made no mistake to contribute to the kind of climate change kind of impact in the world. So if we are talking about green industry, I would think that the South Asian region follows green growth transition with clean industrial activities. That would imply a larger use of energy in industrial activities along with so many other things. Look at the energy mix of the region. South Asia has a lot of potential in hydropower that could be also transformed into hydrogen energy. Some studies say it's 350 gigawatt, but our solar energy potential is 3 times of the same, and wind energy is perhaps 4 times of the same. So a proper renewable energy mix will create an avenue for green industry and green transformation in energy mix, so that for those countries having faced severe problem in terms of energy usage and the goal for decarbonization, perhaps South Asia could be a good destination. Recently, when I was in Beijing, Your Excellency, and I was talking to some of your ministers